Welcome to Sports 101. This week, college football is once again on our docket. I'm joined this week by Zach Weinreich and Benjamin Schoenkin. All right, guys, so we're a couple of weeks into the season now. How have your Heisman Trophy winner have changed?
Well, Marcus Mariota has played amazingly. He's thrown for close to 900 yards. He has 7 TDs, 4 TDs rushing. But I do have to admit that Adrian McCarron of Alabama outdueled Johnny Manziel in the A&M Alabama game, so there is a possibility he could end up with the Heisman.
Well, I picked Braxton Miller, and he was out 2 of the 4 Ohio State games so far. The 2 games that he did play, he looked pretty good, but with Kenny Guyton coming back and leading Ohio State to just crazy victories. Granted, they were kind of shady teams, but, you know, I got to rethink. And Johnny Manziel's been solid this year. There's a good chance he could definitely back to back. I think there's a very good chance of it, but I think it's a 2-man race between him and Marcus Mariota.
All right, now what has stood out to you guys the most through the first 4 weeks of the season? Who are you disappointed in? Who are you excited about? What's gone on as you've watched the football season play out so far?
Well, I have to say the biggest disappointment this season has been the Michigan Wolverines. They almost lost to Akron. Akron should have won that game. That was just a poor pass at the end of the game. And then they only win at UConn by only 3 points. I don't know how they expect to end up winning any Big Ten game, even Purdue, who Wisconsin just dismantled.
I mean, in Michigan's defense, we are still 4-0. Zach, what are your thoughts on the first 4 weeks of the season?
My biggest surprise right now has got to be Fresno State. They're finally cracked the top 25 this week. Had a huge win over Boise State, 41-40 this past weekend. You know, Mountain West, not an automatic qualifier, but from what I'm hearing, they could be the new Boise State. They could be that BCS buster, and I think they have one of the best pocket passers that you've never heard of, and that's Derek Carr, David Carr's little brother.
Huh. All right, now what are you guys looking forward to as we start to move into conference play throughout all of college football?
I think I'm going to keep a close eye on the ACC. You know, usually a basketball-heavy school conference. There's 3 top 15 teams. Not to mention that Maryland and Georgia Tech are also undefeated. I think you're going to get some really good games in the ACC.
I'd say the Big 12 because you have so many teams where no one really knows who's going to end up winning. So I think that round-robin style of play that the Big 12 now plays with only 10 teams, I think that'll be a really interesting conference to watch.
Excellent. All right, there's a couple of big games this weekend. First off, number 6 LSU takes on number 9 Georgia. Who you got? I'm
going to go LSU. They have one of the best defenses in the country. Les Miles is always about defense. But Zach Mettenberger has really come into his own as LSU's quarterback. And Les Miles, he's a little crazy, but I think he's going to get the job done.
I have to pick the Bulldogs. I think Aaron Murray proved what he can do against South Carolina. I got to pick them.
All right. Other big matchup this week, we got Ohio State taking on Wisconsin. Take your pick, guys.
I'm going to have to pick Wisconsin, believe it or not.
Going with the upset.
Yeah, because Braxton Miller hasn't played in 2 games. I don't see how he's going to come play against the Badgers, who I think one of their running backs already has over 600 yards rushing. I just don't see how.
This is going to be a really fun game to watch. I mean, I think it could go either way. It's going to be a close game. You know, defense is going to be huge. I got to go with Ohio State, though, because even if Braxton Miller struggles, you've got the best, and I'm going to go on record saying this, the best backup quarterback in college football in Kenny Guyton.
All right. Well, it's going to be an interesting weekend to see how things play out. That's going to do it for us here at Sports 101 this time. For Benjamin Schoenkin and Zach Weinreich, I'm Nick Amatangelo. Your homework for this weekend is to check out what's going on in the NHL. Our season preview is coming up next week.